I've been disappointed with establishment Democrats for quite some time, and it has all come to a complete boiling point with the absolute capitulation on the shutdown. They got nothing, absolutely nothing. Chuckles has proven himself to be as worthless as we all thought he was, completely beholden to donors instead of to the people. And this is the fundamental problem with the Democratic Party. And Hakeem Jeffries stated that he thought it was a mistake and the Democrats shouldn't have folded. Behind the scenes, we're finding out that Chuckles orchestrated the whole thing, then ran out in front of the press to provide cover. And here we have the minority leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, and he likes to have it both ways too. And this is the problem with Democrats. They play pick-me politics. I want everybody to like me. So I'm not going to ruffle anybody's feathers and I'm not going to believe in anything. And Hakeem is participating in this as well. Play the clip.
The shutdown worth it?
We have waged a battle on behalf of the American people. First of all, Donald Trump and Republicans are the ones who shut the government down. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And the American people know it. And that's been the case for 7 consecutive weeks.
But, at the end of the day, you can get what you want. So was it worth waging this fight?
At the end of the day, the fight lives on.
Okay. At the end of the day, the fight is over because you gave up. And Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you're a fighter. And then when Chuckles orchestrates 8 old Democratic senators with zero backbone exercise a massive display of cowardice in the throes of something this country has never seen, a deranged man with full-blown dementia surrounded by psychopaths dismantling the Constitution. The only response from the minority speaker of the House right now needs to be Chuckles Schumer needs to be replaced. Do you think the Republicans would blink about replacing? Look at what they did to Kevin McCarthy. We're playing 2 different games here.
Well, the thing is not only did they get nothing, they handed Trump a victory because they didn't reduce healthcare subsidies. They left it in Mike Johnson's hands about putting it to a vote about the ACA subsidies. Well, we know he's never going to do it ever because he kisses one person's ass. And it is so profoundly disappointing that in the midst of a complete authoritarian takeover, they got 0 guardrails in this bill. It is a failure from top to bottom.
All right, moving along. Hakeem needs to be a leader in this moment. And you see other Democratic progressives like Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna stepping up, even Chris Murphy stepping up and saying, we need real leadership right now. You have to fight. You have to fight with everything in you. This administration, with their cuts to USAID, has resulted in deaths. And then they say they are the pro-family, pro-life party. The fact that the Democratic messaging is every bit as impotent as their actions is breathtaking. It is staggering. And here's Hakeem again, proving that he absolutely is not the man for this moment.
Why do you think he is the right leader for this moment? Why do you think he should stay leader of Senate Democrats?
Yeah, as I've indicated, listen, Leader Schumer and Senate Democrats over the last 7 weeks have waged a valiant fight on behalf of the American people.
Okay. No, they didn't wage a valiant fight because they tucked their tail between their legs and caved to a man that is obsessed with talking about magnets and has done this arts and crafts project and labeled the Presidential Hall of Fame. It looks like dog shit. The only thing that looks worse than the quote Presidential Hall of Fame is Kanks. And the only thing that looks worse than Kanks right now are these cowards, these Democratic cowards that cannot fight this fight. We just won across the board on last Tuesday. But the Democrats won't let us have nice things either because they are beholden to their corporate donors. And the only response from Jeffries at this moment should be, We need to replace leadership. This is the fight for the Constitution. This is the fight for everybody. I don't care if Chuckles is going to be mad at me because we have 340 million people in this country that we have to fight for. We have a constitution we have to fight for. And this isn't about personalities and glad handing and being asshole buddies. This is about real people's lives, even the people who do not vote for us, even the people who think that we're crazy commies and jihadists and all this crazy shit. Those people are going to suffer. Those people are going to have MAGA hellfire raining down upon them. This is very, very serious. And these press conferences do not meet the moment. What he says does not meet the moment. Saying they waged a valiant fight and then they tucked their tail between their legs. And the fact that he can come out and say that with a straight face to the camera tells you why the Democratic approval rating is in the teens. And I would imagine it's going to plummet even more. And this brings me to my point that pick me politicians. I'm a moderate. I'm a centrist. I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. Doesn't mean anything. Believe in something. Believe in the fact that we are the richest country on the planet and people are dying because they don't have health care. We are the richest country on the planet and we are denying people basic rights. We are kidnapping people off the streets, throwing them into concentration camps. And then the oligarchs are having a stage 5 meltdown because Zoran Mamdani links all rights as universal human rights, and they don't freak out about this fucking freak kinks. It's unbelievable. Moving along, finally, a man with courage. Top of my I like this guy list, Ro Khanna.
So you're absolutely right. I mean, look, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. You had Chuck Schumer cheerleading into the war in Iraq. You've had Chuck Schumer cheerleading for a blank check to Netanyahu. You've had Chuck Schumer betraying us on the first shutdown. You then had Chuck Schumer given multiple opportunities after Zoran won the primary to at least endorse him, even if it was a pro forma endorsement. He doesn't do that. And now he's not even willing to fight to make sure that the ACA subsidies don't increase. So to your earlier question about are there difficult questions on SNAP benefits and troop pay? Of course there are. And maybe if this was the only context, Chuck Schumer would have some grace and goodwill and say, okay, we disagree with this deal, but it's not enough to call for you to step down. But this is the culmination of someone who just doesn't get it, who doesn't get how much people are hurting, who doesn't get where the base of this party is, who doesn't get how upset this party has been that we're giving all this money to overseas wars and not doing healthcare here, who certainly is never going to support Medicare for all. He's just out of touch. He's not the future of the party.
Pumps.
Well, I think that's very well said. And I think when you look back at the history he's describing, Chuck Schumer has written strongly worded letters. He was the first person to cave on the original CR. And I look at Hakeem Jeffries. He's had one memorable moment in Trump's reign of terror, and that was the pedophile protection program. That's it. That's who's in leadership. They are not meeting the moment. I realize Chuck Schumer has seniority, blah, 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 blah. He's also beholden to AIPAC. He's also willing to provide money and missiles to Israel while American people go without health insurance. He has got to go. I don't know how you make him understand, because at this point, I don't think he cares. I think he thinks his job is secure. Bernie Sanders is fringy, and he's the moderate in the middle. But what he is a weak, impotent leader in a time that calls for strong leadership.
And I think Congressman Khanna's point is very important as he takes the Democratic establishment back to the lie that led us to the Iraq War. And that received a lot of bipartisan support, that lie that led to the deaths of millions of people and American foreign policy faceplant and the American economy because of the deregulation of Republican administration, specifically George Bush, the dumb one, the son. He completely deregulated, lied to go into war, let Dick Cheney run amok. And Democrats, some of these Democrats in office right now were in office back then. And they've never really been an opposition party. ever. They govern incrementally. They go along with this bullshit because there are donors and corporations to whom they're both beholden, which leaves this vacuum for these nut jobs to fill. And now, here we go. Here's one of the 8 cowardice senators. Play the clip.
We've heard from many of our Republican colleagues in the Senate is that they're willing to work on health care. Now we can hold them accountable. We're going to have a vote. We're going to see if they're really willing to work on it. And if they're not, the people of America can hold them accountable.
Okay, let me just explain something to you. You're not going to hold them accountable because you did not hold them accountable for January 6th. They play a different game than you do. Do you think Mitch McConnell even lost a second of sleep when he stole the Supreme Court seat from Obama? You're the same group of people that had a stage 5 meltdown on Biden's way out that, oh my God, he pardoned his son. What is this going to mean for the rule of law? Meanwhile, on the same day that you folded like a cheap suit, the most illegal, criminal, dementia-ridden mob boss, and it's hard to even say mob boss with him because he's so old, frail, and incompetent, but that's how he governs, completely pardoned 75 people that tried to attempt a coup in 2020, while at the same time, over the weekend at Mar-a-Lago, they're playing propaganda videos that somehow Kanks won 2020. And I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. This is what they're going to do. They are going to cook the books and say that Kanks won in 2020. So, we're already in the third term. I don't know what to do. We're just dingy MAGA, blah, blah. While they do all of this stuff, you think you're going to hold them accountable? You think they give a shit?
No.
They laugh behind Democrats' backs at what pussies you are. And this has to be a different generation of Democrats. The fact that there isn't a chorus after this capitulation, after this bend over, a chorus from Democrats saying Chuck Schumer needs to be replaced, tells you that sadly, these fascists are a lot more ambitious at wrecking things than Democrats are at helping people. It is a disgrace. It is absolutely horrible. You all took an oath to the Constitution. These same 8 are the same people that are playing patty cake with these dipshits that Trump appoints around him that have no interest being anywhere near a competent job at all. Most of these people need to be in a straight cell and a straight jacket and a padded cell in the quote unquote insane asylums that Trump confuses all of the time. And I just want to leave you all with this. They're doing all of this, and this is the opposition. Play the clip.
But it's so, President Xi was willing to do the rare earth thing, that's magnets. Now, nobody knows what a magnet is. If you don't have a magnet, you don't make a car. You don't make a computer. You don't make...
Are you fucking kidding me? Everybody knows what a magnet is. Let's ask the third graders. Do you know what a magnet is? They'll be able to answer it. This is who you're bending over for. And behind him, you've got a failed drag queen. You've got this psycho Stephen Miller. You've got all of these freak shows, these women that try to go gender wash this administration. They are attacking women. They are attacking gays. They are attacking Black and brown people. They are kidnapping people and locking them up. And members of Congress say they like to go home and watch the raids on YouTube for sport. And they're doing it all for this guy. And you can't stand up against this guy. You should resign in disgrace. This is pathetic. We need fighters. I stand with Ro Khanna. I stand with Bernie Sanders. Chuck Schumer needs to resign. And if Hakeem Jeffries cannot say it, he needs to resign. And if Cory Booker and others cannot say Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, they need to resign. One of the biggest parties with problems with the Biden administration is they gave a blank check to Netanyahu. There's been no atonement of that by the Democratic Party. It was a massive mistake. Instead, they sit around saying, oh, there's a rise in Islamophobia. I mean, there's a rise in anti-Semitism. Well, yes, there is. And there's also a rise in misogyny. There's also a rise in homophobia. There's also a rise in racism. You can't preferentially treat one group over all of the others. We have people all over the place calling for doing away with the 19th Amendment, you know? So this is just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. The Democratic Party makes me want to take this microphone and bang it into my head. Pull yourselves together, for fuck's sake. This man, what he just said, Pumps, nobody knows what a magnet is. Are you fucking kidding me? This is a layup.
It shouldn't be that hard to come out against this guy and all the crazy shit. I mean, they're murdering people just willy-nilly. It's
Yes.
crazy that we cannot stand up against this with a full-throated voice. Instead, we're running around saying we want to hold them accountable on healthcare. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to hold them accountable because they do not know what accountability is, and they've showed you who they are, and you continue not to believe them.
And do you think for a second, if the roles were reversed here, that they would have caved?
Never.
That they wouldn't ask for the leadership in the Senate to resign? We play two different games here, and you have a group of ambitious psychopaths that outplay you at every single turn. And so this is just pathetic. It infuriates me that we vote for these people because we agree on 80, 90% of everything. And then they just fold like cheap suits because they're not, there's no loyalty to the people. It's this loyalty to this unregulated capitalism that has created this huge mess. And they can't just stand up and say, you know what, we have major problems here. And some people just recently did that, and then they don't get endorsed. If you talk about affordability in the Democratic Party, then you're not going to get endorsed by Democratic leadership. All right, that's all we have for this episode. Like, subscribe, comment, feed the algorithm. We'll be back later with more news.